Across the United States, something extraordinary is unfolding. From the bustling streets of New York to the suburbs of California and the industrial heartlands of the Midwest, mosques are rising, communities are expanding, and the sound of Islam is growing stronger than ever before. In the past decade alone, the Muslim population in America has grown by almost 52%. This is one of the fastest growing religious groups in the entire country. The story of this growth is not just about numbers, it's about identity, resilience, and the way Islam is becoming an inseparable part of the American landscape. Walk through cities like Dearborn, Houston, or Brooklyn, and you will see it. Mosques filled to capacity on Fridays, families celebrating Eid in public parks, and new generations of Muslims confidently shaping their future. This isn't just a demographic change, it's a social transformation. Proof that Islam in America is no longer hidden in the background. It is rising, thriving, and helping redefine what faith looks like. What makes the story of Islam in America even more fascinating is not just its natural growth through immigration and birth rates, but also through conversions. Every year, thousands of Americans embrace Islam, drawn by its clarity of belief in one God, its emphasis on peace and justice, and the spiritual discipline it offers. Studies show that around 20,000 to 25,000 people convert to Islam in the U.S. annually, and nearly two-thirds of them are women. Some of these new Muslims are ordinary citizens seeking meaning, while others are public figures, intellectuals, and celebrities. Proof that Islam is not confined to one class or culture. From professional athletes to respected academics, from singers to social activists, people from every walk of life are finding in Islam the peace and direction they have been searching for. The overall picture is clear. Islam is no longer a religion confined to the edges of American life. It is a vibrant, expanding faith that is shaping culture, thought, and community across the nation. Whether through new mosques rising in suburbs, record Eid gatherings in public squares, or the heartfelt journeys of those who embrace Islam, the message is unmistakable. Islam is thriving in the United States, and its future here is brighter than ever. In the 1990s, Muslims in America were still a relatively small community, numbering around 1 million people, less than 0.5% of the population. But by the year 2000, that figure had already doubled to nearly 2 million, crossing 0.6% of the U.S. population. Over the next decade, growth accelerated even more. By 2010, the Muslim population had reached about 2.35 million, a rise of almost 120% compared to 1990. Just 5 years later, in 2015, Pew Research reported nearly 3.3 million Muslims, about 1% of the U.S. population. The upward trend continued, and by 2020, estimates ranged between 3.85 to 4.5 million Muslims, showing a nearly 52% increase in just one decade. Looking ahead, projections suggest that by 2030, Muslims could make up around 1.7% of the American population, making Islam the fastest growing major religion in the United States. When we look decade by decade, the numbers paint a striking picture of America's changing religious landscape. In the early 1990s, over 85–90% of U.S. adults identified as Christians. By the year 2000, that share had dropped closer to 78%, and by 2020 it had fallen dramatically to around 62%, a decline of nearly 30 percentage points in just 3 decades. In contrast, Islam has been moving in the opposite direction. In 1990, Muslims made up less than 0.5% of the U.S. population, about 1 million people. By 2000, the figure had doubled to nearly 2 million. In 2010, it reached 2.35 million, and by 2020, estimates placed the Muslim population between 3.8 and 4.5 million, 1.3% of the population, a growth of more than 120% since 1990. But the most dramatic change has been among the so-called nones, people with no religious affiliation. In 1990, they made up about 8% of Americans. By 2007, this rose to 16%, and by 2020, nearly 30% of U.S. adults described themselves as atheist, agnostic, or nothing in particular.